I'm just going to make some little C-clip holders that will hold the C-clip in place once it's clamped around there to stop it from springing back out, because it'll have a little bit of pressure on it when I tighten the nut up. I've just drilled it out with a 6mm drill. I've reamed it out with a 1/4 inch reamer, so now this component here will actually fit inside there. I've cleaned the edge up. I'm just going to clean the outside edge up now. Just zoom in a little bit. So the idea is that that little groove, that little recess inside there, this pin here will go through it. You'll then clip your C-clip onto there. That will wrap around the C-clip, stopping it from springing open, and then you'll be able to tighten your threads on the other side. On these little multi-tools, you get the little grinding arbor that sits into the grinder, and the very tiny little nut on the end, little screw on the end. That makes the grinding wheel spin round ever so slightly like that. So what I actually did, I made another little grinding arbor which gives full support onto the, you can make that out, gives full support onto the grinding wheel on both sides. So if you want to compare the two, on the grinding arbor that I've made, the grinding wheel spins absolutely true. I'll just take that off so you can see the inside of it. Recessed it out on slightly on the inside, as you can see, so you've got a slight lip around the outside so that it grips it more on the outside of the grinding wheel. The only disadvantage with this is you can only use the grinding wheels up to this point here, whereas on this one here you can use them right up to the nut, but 9 times out of 10 if you try using this with it spinning round all over the place, these usually explode and don't last very long at all, but on this one it does. Okay, so what I've done to try to work out how deep to send this grinding wheel into there, on my smaller lathe I've machined, let's see if you can see that, I've machined this part here so that the circlip just and so wraps round and grips on it, so that these sleeves here can go over the top and it doesn't expand the C-clip out too much so that these won't go over the top. So now that I know what diameter that is, that measures 3.86. I know that this is 6.35, which is 1/4 inch. I know I need to take off the diameter 2.49 off the diameter for the depth of that. I've measured the wheel size because these wheels can actually reduce in size quite a bit. The wheel measures 18.34, so I'm going to get that to just and so start touching that, set my cross dial, send it into 2.49 off the diameter, and then re-measure my wheel size to make sure that my wheel hasn't reduced in size. If it has, I'll have to compensate for that. So now I shall measure the wheel again. The wheel was 18.34. If it's still 18.34, then that should be the right size. $18.28. 18.28. So it needs to go in another 0.06. Just try that again. That's fit over the top beautifully, and that will stop the C-clip from springing open and coming off. It fits this 5.5. About perfect, so I can hold it on that and tighten it up with the other one. Got at both ends skimmed off a little bit on the grinder. Both of them with a 5.5mm flat ground on the end. This is the finished knurling tool, what it looks like. All I need to do now is get some nuts, some slightly longer nuts to go on this thread here. The thread doesn't actually go right up to the edge of the knurl, the arm. So when I tighten this thread up here, this nut on the end of this thread, it still leaves a little bit of play on there, and I want that nut to tighten up onto the arm. So if I get some longer nuts and then just recess the middle of the thread out of the nut, then that will make it tighten up against the arm. I'm not actually going to show you that because I haven't got any nuts, and I might end up having to make some yet. Although the knurling tool is functional, it's extremely ugly looking, and what I might end up doing at some point is scrapping these pins and these C-clip holders and everything like that, and just making some more high-speed steel pins, but make them out of a slightly bigger, possibly a 3/8 milling cutter, and grind it right the way down so it's a nice tight fit into them, and then possibly put a C-clip on this side, but leave it slightly bigger on this side, so the pin will just slide straight in. It'll look a lot neater. This is the way that the pins are supposed to fit. This is a Malco one. This is another knurling tool that I've got. This is for much bigger stuff. The pins themselves in these are fairly solid. They will push out, but they're solid in the actual arm. However, they're still free to roll, for the knurls to roll around. So that's the way that the knurling tools should look. And I suppose when you've got the pins in the edge like that, you could take it right up to more or less right up to a shoulder, within, or maybe about 4mm up to the shoulder. Whereas with this ugly looking thing, it'd be possibly 10mm up to the shoulder. And what I might end up doing is the hexagon part that I've ground on the end, I might end up chopping the whole of that hexagon part off and putting a slot in the edge, so I can, instead of holding it with a 5.5mm socket, I'll just be able to hold it with a screwdriver or something, which might make it look a little bit neater. I don't know yet, but that's the finished knurling tool.